I'm about to test every class of train seat on the world's fastest train to find out how comfortable you can actually be at 120 miles an hour, because I've always wondered, what does the best seat on such a futuristic train actually look like? What's the food like compared to the economy class? Is it even possible to see an iconic view of Mount Fuji from the window of a train when you're travelling that fast? To answer all of these questions, I've flown all the way to Tokyo, Japan. For the first leg of our journey on the bullet train, we'll be going from Tokyo to Sendai in the standard seat, which is roughly a 200-mile journey and will only take 90 minutes. This is my first time stepping onto a bullet train, so I've got no idea what to expect. But after hearing people talk about them for years, I need to see if they're really worth the hype. To find out, I'll be ranking each seat in 5 different categories, starting with the standard seat. Not too bad. Seems like a better train seat than you get in the UK, so let me show you around. This seat comes with a fairly comfortable headrest, a standard tray table, a hook to hang your umbrella on, which is so Japan, a large storage pocket, a cup holder, and a very generous amount of legroom for a pocket-sized man. Pretty standard stuff for a train seat, apart from the fact that we're moving at 200 miles an hour. As far as basic train seats go, this one's fairly comfortable. There's plenty of legroom, although I am 5'7". There's lots of space, it reclines, which I've never seen on a basic train seat before. There is a guy back there who keeps sneezing, and he sounds like a spider from Minecraft every time he sneezes, but I don't think that's a reflection on the train itself. And you get incredible views of the city of Tokyo. What more could you ask for? For comfort, this seat gets a 5 from me, but only because later in this video we'll be trying a seat so comfortable it comes with its own slippers and high-tech control panel. Now, we should probably talk about the price of this ticket. In terms of price, this was by far the cheapest ticket in this video, but to be fair, it's not looking too bad. This seat only cost me $70, which I think is pretty good considering it's 4 times faster than travelling by car. I've just taken a look online and the basic class doesn't have any food either. You already get food on the 2 classes above this, which we'll be trying later. Fortunately for me, I planned ahead and brought some of my favourite Japanese snacks, so it also scores 0 on food. Not a great start. One thing I've noticed is just how clean the windows are on Japanese trains. In England, this is what your windows look like. And speaking of windows, the views from this train seat for the price are absolutely incredible. I've seen parts of Japan today I never expected to see. As much as the views from this train are absolutely incredible, later we're going to be seeing Mount Fuji from the window of a train, so on views I'm probably going to have to give this a 6, but only because of what's coming up. So I'm just looking around to see if there's any tech on this train. I don't think there is. I can't see a plug socket. It's going to have to be a 0 on tech. Which just leaves one category left to review on this train, the bathroom, where I made a strange discovery. Right, I'm in the women's toilets. Calm down, I have a good reason. I've just walked past the men's toilets and I've seen the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. There's a urinal on a train, which I've never seen before, but the urinal has a glass door. Like, you can just see the back of the urinal from the hallway. So if you're just doing your business and somebody decides to walk past, they can just see you. But the women's bathroom has one of these fancy Japanese toilets, the world's smallest sink, and a full-length mirror. Bathroom score, not very fancy, quite hard to stand still. Probably give it like a 4 out of 10, which gives our standard bullet train seat a score of 15 out of 50. Yeah, not great, but I've got high hopes for our next seat because I paid extra for the Mount Fuji view. I'm about to take the bullet train equivalent of business class, but weirdly enough, it was actually the hardest seat to get in this video because it has one of the best views of Mount Fuji in the entire country. We're going from Osaka to Tokyo. It's a 320-mile journey and it's only supposed to take around 2 hours. Let's go see Mount Fuji. During cherry blossom season in Japan, this seat's so popular you have to book it more than a month in advance, so I'm expecting big things from our middle tier seat. So this is green class. It's the middle class on the bullet train. And as far as I know, it's actually the highest class that goes from Osaka to Tokyo. In terms of the price, this seat was nearly as expensive as the grand class, which is the first class of the bullet train. It cost over $200 for one ticket, and that's because the view of Mount Fuji is apparently that good. it's worth the money. And that's important because ever since I was a kid, I've dreamt of seeing that mountain with my very own eyes. I always used to see it on TV and in cartoons growing up, and used to imagine what it would be like to actually be there. And today is my chance to see it for the very first time. But before I do that, I need to tell you how I got this ticket in the first place. Thanks to today's sponsor, Klook, it was actually really easy to get the ticket. Klook is essentially an all-in-one travel app that allows you to book hotels, local activities, transport, and even get yourself an eSIM all in one place. If you've ever wanted to go to Japan, you'll know that booking all of these things is super overwhelming because of the language barrier. But on Klook, I booked everything in English before I even left to go on this trip. And Klook even allows you to choose your seats, which is how I landed the Mount Fuji seat on this very train. Not only that, but when I first went to the station, understandably, I was immediately confused because, quite frankly, that place is like the back rooms. But the Klook app immediately cleared up all of that confusion by telling me exactly what platform I needed to leave from and exactly what platform I was arriving to. If you're planning on booking a trip this summer, and especially to Japan, save yourself some time and money and download Klook using the link in the description, and make sure you use code JPainter for 10% off your first purchase. Right, it's about time I gave you a tour of this very expensive bullet train seat. It comes with a footrest that rotates down for some reason, not exactly the optimal position for your legs. It comes with its own reading light, which I probably won't be using because I'm dyslexic and I can barely read. There's actually a hidden tray table. Oh, kind of expected it to go like all the way across. Still useful though, and it's even got window blinds in case you're not interested in that view of Mount Fuji you paid all that money for. I've got no idea what any of this says. And you have a fully reclining seat. This can't be good for the person behind me. I mean, it's a fairly comfortable seat, good leg room, lots of space. So for comfort, I'll give it a 8 out of 10. Can we just take a second to appreciate how beautiful this country is? Yeah, that's right, just like that. I mean, look at that, it looks like a movie. I pulled out my phone to do a speed test and we were doing 280 kilometers an hour. At this point, a woman came around with a hand towel and I thought food might be on the way, but it turns out you have to order it in Japanese from a QR code, and I'm not smart enough to figure out how to do that. So it looks like there's actually bullet train shaped food, but there's no language option, so I cannot figure out how to order it. I'm going to assume it tastes good and give it a 5 out of 10 on food. Right, I think it's probably time to show you that iconic Mount Fuji view. Yeah, that's not actually what it looked like. This is what it looked like. It was so cloudy, we went past Mount Fuji and I never even noticed. I paid $20 extra to see Mount Fuji and I never even saw it. I'm gonna rate this seat 0 for views, simply because it broke my heart. We're genuinely going so fast, my ears keep popping. Like, I don't think humans were built to travel at this kind of speed. In terms of tech, there's not a lot to report, but there is a plug socket which I wasn't expecting, so for tech, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Bathroom situation, it's nothing special, although I don't know how I'm going to use the toilet at this speed. I don't feel very safe. It's a very small sink, fairly standard toilet, not even a special Japanese one. The drainage hole, in case you miss, is crazy. Without a fancy Japanese toilet, the most I can give it is a 4 out of 10, which gives our mid-level seat a slightly more respectable score of 23 out of 50. But the next seat is on a different level entirely. This seat is the closest you're going to get to flying business class on any train in the world, and it costs more than most flights to Europe. The journey from Tokyo to Sagura is around 360 miles and takes just 3 hours. Let's go check it out. I've never travelled first class on a train before, so I've got no idea what to expect here, but judging by the staff waiting on the platform, it's going to be a luxury experience. I'm going to be keeping my voice down because I don't want to annoy other passengers, but this is the craziest train seat I've ever sat in. This seat comes with a bunch of free stuff, a bottle of water, a menu, a hand towel, a snack, some slippers. I might have to make a new category for our ranking system. I think this is supposed to be apple, but why does it look like a crystal? No, I'm not so sure on that. This is when I find out I'm actually allergic to whatever the hell this is. This is my final train journey. A hidden full-size tray table, a reading light that I'm still not going to use, and an entire control panel for the seat. There's a memory foam pillow. I don't even have one of those at home. A privacy screen, and a staff member bows to you every 10 minutes. What kind of dystopian train seat is this? It gets a 10 for comfort. I'm sorry, I'm left with no choice. An iPhone does not do this view justice. I really should start investing in some proper equipment, because that looks incredible with my eyeballs, and terrible on this video clip. I didn't get any food because I've got the palate of a 9-year-old, and turkey dinosaurs weren't on the menu, so I'm going to show you what my fiance got, and you can be the judge. I have no idea what any of that food is. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's probably good though for anyone other than me, so I'll give it a 7. Price-wise, this was the most expensive train ticket I've ever booked, at $250 per ticket. Most flights that I've taken this year cost less than that, but I can understand why, because look at this. Which brings us on to the view, and although it's not Mount Fuji, I saw some incredible things from that window. So the Grand Class gets an 8 on views. Now I know I gave this train seat a 10 out of 10 for comfort, but I think one of the other passengers got a little bit too comfortable. I mean, tech-wise, it's pretty cool that the chair has its own control center, but there are no USB ports or USB-C ports, and I think for the price you'd kind of expect at least that. So for tech, I'm going to give this a 6. There's an incredibly wealthy American couple out there that look like they would hunt down my entire family and use them as ornaments for their living room if I was to speak too loudly, so I am trying to keep my voice down. But we've got a traditional Japanese style toilet with all of the buttons you could ever need, including, of course, the music button. So if you're in the middle of doing your business and you think, you know what this needs? Drake. Then there's a button for that. This might be the funniest warning sign I've ever seen in a toilet. What? What's the story behind that, and why is there a sign telling people not to do it? This seat did come with another weird urinal with a viewing window, but considering it has a Japanese smart toilet, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for the bathroom. Which makes Grand Class our winning seat with a score of 38 out of 50. I may not have seen Mount Fuji, but I had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching it. I'll see you in the next one. Psst! Hey you! Yeah, I'm talking about you. Before you press subscribe, watch that next video on the screen. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy it, and I'm not going to argue with them. Alright, why haven't you clicked it yet?